That sounds it sounds very similar to some things I can picture. So, I know that on your website you're like, "Hey, you need to meet with me before we do this." I love that. I talked to someone else who is um a therapist to entrepreneurs, and her one of her philosophies is try, try it first. You have to meet. You ask for a try on session, and that you should try to really do that with everyone. And I'm like, that's really important because it takes you forever to find the right therapist or the right doctor. I hate neurologists. You know how many I've been to? Freaking hate them. We'll get to that. But I do love that you have that. You're like, hey, we got to meet first and make sure that we mesh. And I feel like anybody that you're going to be connecting with on like that deep of a level, it is good to make sure you have a relationship. If you can't stand that person, it's like with you're like a therapist. Like if you can't stand to be in the room with them, you're not going to share with them. So I do love that you do that. Do you find that there are a lot of people that when they have the consultation with you, you're like, this really isn't going to work out? Or is it kind of like, what do you think the mix of that is?
So I'm a real sneaky bugger, and I'm really lazy. And when I do a screening call with people, it's not a hypnosis session, but it's really about me finding out how they work. Not I find out a little bit about the problem, but how they do things inside their mind. And before we even get to that step, I get people. I took my telephone number off my website, and I think I took my email address as well. And I did it for a reason, because I didn't want people just emailing me. What's the first question they're going to ask? Oh, can you fix me? And how much is it? To which
Exactly. What's it called?
I
That'd
have,
be my first
I have
question. How
no
much is it?
idea. Yeah, I have no idea if I can help you help yourself, number one. And number two, how the hell could I know how much it's going to be? I don't know how many sessions we're going to need to work. The only way of me knowing, much like the doctor will screen you, or you take your car, you're having some problems with your car, you take it to the mechanic, he has to have a little look underneath the hood, underneath the car. The doctor has to run some diagnostic tests to see where you're at, to see actually what's going on in order to be able to help you. So before we even get to the screening call, potential clients will fill out a form. So if they fill out a form and I get it, that's about 20 questions. It doesn't take that much amount of time, but it already shows me someone's not can't be bothered to take 5 minutes out of their time for a problem that they say is a 10 out of 10. They're lying. They're not where they need to be to shift. Now, let's say I get the questionnaire and I'm going through it and we're not even on the call yet. And I'm just getting red flags after red flag after red flag. I'm going to politely, maybe if they say, the problem's a 10 out of 10, but their motivation to change the problem is a 2 out of 10. Now, I don't want to waste an hour of my life. My screening calls, I'm animated. I'm in there. I'm writing there. I'm working on this screening call. It is work for me. So if I'm going to go into it and the person's not even ready, I don't want to waste my time. I'd rather be working with a person who's like, I'm ready. Luke, I might not know what you do yet, even though you've got thousands of videos out of there. But right now, I'm in a place where I am motivated. Might be a bit scared, might not know exactly what you're going to do. Hopefully, you're going to cover that in the call today. But I am ready to fucking do something right now. Because if I don't do something, I'm dead or my life is in the shitter. When someone comes in at that place, I'm like, great, so they're sufficiently motivated. But if I'm reading the form, how long have you had this problem? 10 years. So why are you contacting me now and not 10 years ago? Well, I'm only really contacting you now because my wife told me I should do it or they'll
That's
leave.
what I was thinking.
What
Those
kind of
twos, it was
motivation?
because yeah, their motivation
Yeah,
is somebody's nagging them.
exactly. And I know, I imagine that their partner is well meaning, but in order to change, you have to change for yourself. Now, it could definitely benefit people you love and care about, and they can get the spoils of that. But your number one thing is you have to change for you. And if you aren't coming, number one reason for you, you're not taking ownership, you're doing it for someone else, this shit ain't going to work. It don't matter if you summon the planets and get Oprah, Dr. Phil, Tony Robbins, Jesus, Gandhi, and whoever down your round table, they ain't going to change it because you ain't ready.
Let's
So
see, Dolly Parton and Neil Patrick Harris. Those
there
would be
you
the two.
go.
Get those people to help change you.
Yeah, fair enough. And Elvis and Johnny Cash.
Yes.
Just a conversation we had off air. If you are not ready, it does not matter. Nothing is going to change. So let's say I go through the questionnaire and it looks good. I'm like, all right, I'm getting a feeling that they've answered in full sentences. They've invested. They want some help. Great. So we go on the call, and on the call, I'm just seeing how, not how hypnotizable anyone is, because everyone's hypnotizable. In order to be hypnotizable, you just need to be able to learn. And most people that I've met know how to pedal a bike, or they've learned to speak a language or a second language or a third language. They've learned a martial art. They've learned how to drive a car. They have learned something that at some stage they did not know what to do. And that's all that hypnosis is. So the three things that I need is, I need someone to, number one, want to change. They need to want to change. They need to want to change for themselves, not for anyone else, but as we said, it can benefit other people. And they have to be able to follow simple instructions. The number one most important thing of all that is, can you follow simple instructions? And I don't say this to sound condescending at all. A lot of people can't follow simple instructions. Simple instruction is, hey, so we were halfway into the session, we're about to do hypnosis. Hey, you don't have to do this, but I'm just using you, Alison. Alison, just go ahead, close your eyes now. And then Alison just keeps her eyes open like this. I've had this. I would sit back and I'd be like, maybe I spoke too fast. Maybe my English accent was too strong for my American friends. So I'll say again, and I'll give a bit of body language. Don't worry, you don't have to do this, Alison. So Alison, go ahead and just
We're
close
gonna be like,
your eyes.
Allison's gonna be clucking like a chicken in a minute, right?
Yes, yes, absolutely. And singing like Dolly Parton.
Oh,
And I'll say,
that would be a trick.
And there's like this. All that tells me is they can't follow simple instructions. The instruction was just close your eyes.
Yeah.
I know it sounds simple, but there's so many people that overcomplicate the steps. We were talking before we went on air about the steps to come on your show, right?
Yeah,
And
I
there's
overcomplicated it because I wanted it to be perfect.
you want it to be perfect. Yeah, but you know what? You've got your steps that are there, and just like you've got your steps before someone comes on your show, I have steps as well, and they're really clear. The first thing is, don't call, don't email me, fill out this form. It's going to take 5 minutes. Second thing, calendar. Choose a day, time that I'm available, you're available. Second thing. Third thing, show up for the call. That's it. You don't have to worry about anything else. It's free. You're not going to be hypnotized on the call. Just do those 3 things. That's all you have to do. And there's no money involved. Oh, Luke, before I book the screening call, can I just ask you? Well, no, we're going to cover all of that on the screening calls. Your screening call with me is not my first rodeo. I've done about 10,000 of them. So just follow the steps, and it's the easiest way that we can get on the phone and work on the problem at hand, which is causing you to suffer. But a lot of people want to, yeah, but just let me just ask that one thing before we officially start. Well, no, we're going to cover that on the screening call. Do these steps in the same way.
It's those of us that are control freaks. You can't like give in.
Yeah, it's in the same way. You wouldn't go to your doctor's office. You're like, doctor, before you put the stethoscope on me, can I see your qualifications? Can I see the last 5 people you've worked in? Can I see my medical chart? Can I just test your blood ratio? Are you available next Friday? No, it's a professional. You go in there to be a professional. If I'm hiring someone to fix my car, I don't know anything about cars. So I'm going to go in there like, here's the problem, and have a look. I'm not going to tell him how to do it. I'm paying him because he's the expert. I don't know nothing about law. Don't go into lawyer and be like, hey, yeah, blah, 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 blah. No, this is the expert. This is why I brought him in, because I don't have that particular skill set. So I trust the professional, and because I've done my research before and I'm pretty good at picking up vibe.